We also know that Sweden, who enforced few mandates, ended up with a death rate 1/3 of New York and New Jersey. We also know that the overall death rate for the U.S. now is essentially equivalent to that of South America. Dr. Fauci, today, do you have any second thoughts about your mitigation recommendations? Consider, despite all of the things we've done in the U.S., our death rate is essentially worse than Sweden, equivalent to the less developed world. That is, are you willing to look at the data that countries that did very little actually have a lower death rate than the United States?
You know, Senator, I'd be happy at a different time to sit down and go over detail. You've said a lot of different things. You've compared us to Sweden, and there are a lot of differences. And you said, well, you know, there are a lot of differences between Sweden, but compare Sweden's death rate to other comparable Scandinavian countries. It's worse. So I don't think it's appropriate to compare Sweden with us. But I don't regret saying that the only way we could have really stopped the explosion of infection was by essentially, I want to say shutting down.
I've been a big fan of Cuomo and the shutdown in New York. You've lauded New York for their policy. New York had the highest death rate in the world. How can we possibly be jumping up and down and saying, oh, Governor Cuomo did a great job? He had the worst death rate in the world.
No, you misconstrued that, Senator, and you've done that repetitively in the past. They got hit very badly. They made some mistakes. To get their test positivity 1% or less is because they are looking at the guidelines of the 4 or 5 things of masks, social distancing, outdoors more than indoors, avoiding crowds, and washing hands.
Or they've developed enough community immunity that they're no longer having the pandemic because they have enough immunity in New York City to actually stop.
I challenge that. This because this happens with Senator Rand all the time. You are not listening. I believe 22% is herd immunity. I believe you're alone in that.